Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar session brought to you by Siksha Study Abroad and ETS. Student, this is an informative session wherein we have three renowned universities with us from UK, and they will tell you that why UK is a preferred destination for your higher education. Plus, how ETS TOEFL will help you with your English language test preparation and how it is a benefit for you to take TOEFL for your UK education. But before we start the session, I would like to introduce our presenters today. Our first presenter is Mr. Sachin, who is the country head for India and South Asia from ETS. Our second presenter is Ms. Sarah Hales. She is the Senior Regional Manager for South Asia, Middle East, and North America from University of Cambridge. Our third presenter is Mr. Noman Naik, who is the Student Recruitment Officer at University College London. And our last presenter is Mr. Faraz Siddiqui, who is the Student Recruitment Executive for India from Imperial College London. Student, a note for all of you. If you have questions, I will request you all to please put your questions in the Q&A section. We will take all your questions at the end of the webinar. And if you have questions that you want to ask directly, I will request you to click on the raise hand tab. I will unmute you and you can ask your questions directly to our presenters. I will now request Sachin to please start with the session. Thank you.
Thanks, Lakshmi, for having us. Let me just share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for giving us an opportunity. And I'm going to talk more about UK and what it takes to study in UK and what are the benefits of studying in UK if you're choosing a university institution in UK for your higher studies. So let's dive in. First and foremost, what UK is all about. So we know about the geography of UK, English, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. These are the four countries that makes United Kingdom. It is the sixth largest economy and second largest in Europe, with a per capita income of roughly $55,000. And these are important elements because at the end of the day, the economy is what drives jobs. The economy is what drives opportunities for all of us. So that's important for all of us to consider. Employment rate in UK, 75%, pretty high. That's what has been a consistent number in UK. More important, if you look at Indian diaspora on UK work visa, 22%, which means that roughly 1 out of 5 of every kind of employee working in UK happens to be from India. It's a big testament of UK corporates looking at Indian talent working in UK. So that's important. Single largest nationality, and number of Indians lead in non-EU students, both in student visa and work visa. Roughly 90,000 student visas were issued last year, and 82,000 work visas were issued to Indian nationals last year. So again, a pretty strong contingent of Indian students and Indian workforce in UK. Uh, why we are here? UK higher education ecosystem. It is the oldest and the most prestigious, hands down. And we are fortunate to have some of the leading and most renowned universities globally who are part of this webinar. So I'll not steal the thunder from them in terms of what kind of programs they have to offer. But UK is a very, I would say, a very focused and a concentrated higher education ecosystem. Only 160 universities. But most important is 90 of them, more than 50% of them are in the global top 200. And that's a big testament again of the quality of UK higher education. And last but not the least, uh, there is a 25% of all students studying in UK higher education happens to be from multiple countries, international students. So again, UK is very welcoming for international students. And if you see my last bullet on this slide, out there are close to 800,000 international students who are currently studying in UK. Uh, this slide is super critical for all of you to understand, and why this is important. So let's dive in. One of the key benefits of studying in UK is shorter duration of programs. Traditionally, if you are opting for US, you would be going for a 4 years undergraduate program and a 2 years master's or a graduate program. Versus in UK, the duration is 3 years and 1 year respectively. So duration certainly brings advantage from a cost standpoint. However, I must share this with all of you. The course selection is very critical for all of you. And please spend a lot of time in selecting the course and the university that you are looking at in UK. Because why I'm saying that, I'm going to cover that later. There is a skilled jobs list as per the UK government, and that enables you for the skilled work visa and consequent PR, etc. If you want to aspire for that. So hence, your program of study should also be aligned in terms of the skills that the UK government is looking for, and that helps you to enable kind of not just study but also work in UK. And if you are not really keen to work in UK, then obviously there are multiple other domains that you can look at. But I'm just trying to connect the dots in terms of why that skilled jobs list is important if you intend to, or if you aspire to work as well in UK. So that's important. In terms of the post-study work opportunities, currently there is a graduate route which allows international students to work after completing their program for 2 years. For PhD graduates, it's 3 years. There is no employer sponsorship, so there's no such requirement for the graduate route. And uh, uh, post that, you can go for a skilled worker visa, which requires sponsorship, and a continuous 5 years of continuous skilled worker visa can make you eligible for the PR, which in UK is known as ILR, indefinite leave to remain. Employers, I'll not spend too much time, but we know all the major corporations have their presence in UK, right from all the big consulting firms to technology, and banking organizations. And there are 68,000 UK employers who are registered as visa sponsors. And again, going back to my previous point on skilled jobs, now skilled jobs requires, or the skilled worker visa requires you to have a sponsor. And hence, connecting the dots in terms of the kind of jobs that the UK government is looking for, in terms of the employers that are visa sponsors in that category, and if you are able to kind of complete your graduate visa in those organizations and in those domains, can help you in your skilled worker visa as well. Um, next, so these, I think, are the three most important elements that I want to kind of leave with you on this slide. Obviously, there are flexibilities in terms of your academic progression, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think more important is the shorter programs, the post-study work opportunities, and how should you link your programs or intended programs with the skilled jobs list as per the UK government, and also the visa sponsors who are in panel for the skilled worker visa. Moving on, the major intake in UK, both for undergraduate and graduate programs, happens to be the fall intake, September. And undergraduate programs applications are through UCAS, which is a unified platform for universities and college admission services. So all undergraduate program applications move through UCAS, while graduate and postgraduate program applications are directly to the universities. Again, the deadlines vary by program, by university, and it's important for you to look at and refer to the university website for details. But it's always good to apply early, like some of the dates that we have mentioned on this slide. But the major intake happens to be the September intake, which also works well for Indian students, given that they would have completed their board exams, the 12th exams by May with the results, and for graduate students who have completed their undergrad studies again by May, June. So the timings works very well. but you have to start preparing a year in advance. That's more important. So fall 25 intake, you should have started and completed most of your process by December of 25. Now you should be targeting largely fall 26 intake. The most preferred programs, I think there are six categories that we have seen through the data: business, management, computer science, IT, engineering, law. Law is very kind of popular, and we have some of the best law schools in UK: data science, analytics, and creative arts and design. So these are the six most popular domains. And again, you can decide the university based upon the curriculum and your eligibility criteria. But yeah, these are the six, I would say, the most popular domains that students have chosen from India. Eligibility criteria. So bachelor's, these are bare minimum. Again, what I must share is that for everything, you should refer to the university website in terms of the admission criteria. English proficiency test, again, the ELT requirements are spelled out very clearly on university website. For TOEFL, it is generally 80 plus. So that's the baseline score that universities ask for TOEFL. And then what I must share, and again, an important point for all of you to understand, you may have heard from your peers, from the ecosystem, that whether the test is CELT approved or not. There is no such requirement for undergraduate and graduate admissions in UK. CELT approval is not required. So any test, which is an English language test approved by the university, you can take that. And CELT is not a requirement for higher education in UK. So this is something which is an important point that I wanted to share with all of you. Again, graduate admission test, again, depends upon program, university, and GRE. Generally, we have seen a score of 300 plus that universities have asked for their MBA and similar programs. Just quickly on TOEFL IBT, it is the shortest test among the three standard tests that are available for you. It is, in fact, in India, the cheapest amongst the three tests, 1,000 rupees cheaper. And then obviously the test validity for TOEFL happens to be 2 years. And this is the score grid in terms of number of questions, and you can complete everything in less than 2 hours. Uh, uh, TOEFL is completed 60 years of its existence last year in 2024. So it is the most widely accepted and the longest kind of test in circulation amongst all the English language tests. In fact, if you add up the age of all the English language tests, all other English language tests, that's equal to the age of TOEFL. So TOEFL has been in circulation as an enabler for international student mobility for last 60 years, and accepted widely across the globe in 13,000 institutions and 160 plus countries. We are investing a lot in creating a very kind of a dynamic test prep ecosystem for TOEFL test takers. And this is the first AI-enabled test prep portal called TOEFL Test Ready. There is a lot of benefits. In fact, just on sign up, you get content and test prep work, I think 8,000 rupees free just on sign up. And then there are many more benefits that you can draw by kind of doing test prep on TOEFL Test Ready. Cost of living and scholarships. Lot of students have this question. So let's dive in. As everybody would appreciate, the cost of living will depend upon the city that you're living in. Obviously, London and around London is more expensive than outside London. And these are some of the tentative or estimated costs that we have put for accommodation to the entire cost of living. Roughly, ballpark, you can say that 10 to 12,000 pounds is an average cost that you would incur in UK, and obviously it will be a couple of thousand more if you happen to be in London and close to London. So, but that's the reference point that you can take in terms of your cost of living, that you will be spending roughly around 1,200 pounds, 1,000 to 1,200 pounds in on an average as part of your cost of living. But what helps you in managing your cost of living is the work opportunities. Unlike US, which only allows on-campus jobs, UK also allows off-campus jobs. So you can work on campus or off campus. And again, these are some of the weekly earnings, estimated weekly earnings. So on an average, a student can earn between 200 to 500 pounds per week, depending upon what he or she is doing. That really helps you support your cost of living while studying in UK. Scholarships. So there are a lot of government funded scholarships that are listed here, but along with that, universities are also coming up with their own individual scholarships for South Asian students, for Indian students, so on and so forth. So always refer to the university website because there is an opportunity for you to kind of apply for that scholarship and be a beneficiary of some of the university sponsored scholarships as well. This is something that we always get a lot of questions on. And let's look at and if you recall, I shared that while the duration of a program in UK is very competitive, 3 years and 1 year, but for a graduate student, 1 year just fly past. So before you, by the time you enter the campus, and a year you will not even realize it will go away, just like that. So it's important that you need to be preparing for your graduate student route and for your skilled worker visa immediately while you are kind of joining the campus. And as I said, nothing rocket science, but you need to be diligent in terms of visiting career fairs, employer visits, networking with peers, with alumni, start searching online, create your profile, add a lot more kind of certifications and experiences to your profile in terms of projects, internships, etc. And also take help from university career services. So I think you are off to the race the day you enter and sign up for the program. So don't wait for the first semester or first trimester to go by and then you will start looking at it. The time just flies out. So it's important for you to be off to the races on day one itself. These are some of the average salaries again. These are kind of just average to give you a flavor of what it would what kind of salaries that you can expect upon depending on the company, location, and the profile. But it could vary from in undergraduate from $30,000 to $55,000, in graduate programs from $35,000 to £60,000. Sorry, 30,000 pounds to 55,000 pounds, and 35,000 pounds to 60,000 pounds in case of graduate programs. And again, some of the niche programs, some of the domains that are in the priority skills category, they may give you more kind of entry level compensation and salary. So again, you just need to kind of look at this holistically in case you intend to or you aspire to study and then work in UK. Then it's important for you to understand what are the kind of skills and priority skills that the UK government is looking for, which also helps you in getting jobs easier and in UK. The post-study work, very kind of structured, as you could see this on the slide. So it is 2 years for the graduate immigration route is or graduate visa route is 2 years for undergraduate and graduate, and 3 years for PhD. I talked about the work visa. The skilled worker visa is for 5 years, and then you can go for the PR post 5 years of continuous work in UK, right? So there's a complete path that UK has created, right? The moment you're out of your graduation from your program to, in case you want to kind of reside in UK permanently and work there. So there's a complete pathway and a very structured pathway that UK has created for last slide, some of you may have heard, some of you may have read. I just want to kind of talk about this. This is just a policy paper. This is not something which is being kind of formulated as a policy, but you should be aware that uh, uh, there are as per the new white paper that UK government has released, they are coming out with stricter English language requirements, wherein they want English language test to be done across all categories, right? And similarly, the graduate visa route. There's a discussion. This is not finalized. There's a discussion to reduce from 2 years to 18 months. But these are all discussions. You should be aware of these. But as I said, these are just white papers. I'll just see if I have one more slide that I want to share. Uh, so, last slide that I want to share with all of you is on medium of instruction. And you may have heard that some of the UK universities also offer a medium of instruction waiver in case you are from a certain board in India, like an IB or an IGCSE, or from CBSE, but you have an English language score which is greater than 75 or 80%. What I must share and recommend to all of you is that, and based on the data that we have seen, first and foremost, um, uh, student and international study abroad aspirant is looking for multiple universities in multiple countries. So on an average, we see 5 to 8 applications that a student makes in 2 to 3 countries. So it's not that a student is just looking at one application or two applications. So a student is also diversifying and kind of hedging their bets to kind of look at multiple countries and multiple universities. And hence, um, uh, you should look at a standardized test like TOEFL, like GRE, more in terms of in case you want to apply across geographies, across countries, and hence it helps you kind of stand ahead in the queue. What's also we are seeing is that, and we did a survey with TOEFL test takers recently, and it was very surprising for us to get as a feedback that 85% of TOEFL test takers who submitted their TOEFL scores got their student visa. What that is reflecting to us is that governments and visa authorities are also looking at the intent, interest, and intellect of students very closely, whether you are a genuine international student. And standardized test is a very solid kind of a marker and a exhibitor of that behavior of you to really be an international student, a genuine international student. So we always recommend, uh, uh, irrespective of a university proposing an MOI waiver, etc., you should in any way, any which ways, take a standardized test, and not just TOEFL. It could be any other standardized test, or not just GRE, any other standardized test, but that helps you showcase your intent and intellect to the visa authorities. Because what is the point of getting the admit from a university or your dream university, but you're not able to get the visa? So it's a zero multiplier. The entire effort goes down the drain, and hence, uh, as enablers, we just want you to have that frictionless journey, and be successful in getting your student visa as well. And hence, we always recommend you to take the standardized test uh, uh, as part of your international student journey. So that's all from our side. Thanks for that lovely audience.
Thank you so much, Sachin, for sharing insight about how ETS helps students with their preparations. And I will now request Sarah to please share how University of Cambridge is helping students in their higher education in the UK, in the UK.
Thank you. I believe, can you see that? Yep. So
Yes,
thank
yes.
you, everybody. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you to everybody at ETS for inviting me here today. I want to just talk a little bit about postgrad study at Cambridge, and give you really an overview of the kinds of things you can study and what we're looking for at Cambridge. Um, just get this to move on. So I won't dwell on this too much, but obviously Cambridge is one of the most recognised universities in the world. We are top 5 in the world. We're known for our high quality teaching and facilities. So things like over 140 libraries, 9 museums that our students get to use. You can see here a picture of the Ray Dolby Centre, which is our new postgrad physics department, 300 million. Opened earlier this year with state-of-the-art labs, clean rooms, teaching spaces, opportunities to work perhaps at our Cambridge Biomedical campus, which was built and developed alongside AstraZeneca, or at the Louchborough Law Centre, which has been teaching eminent lawyers for over 40 years. So you will get to learn and work with nationally and internationally renowned experts, but across a really global community. We have over are international, and last year we welcomed students from over 130 different countries. Now, as well as being a part of your department when you're studying at Cambridge, you're also a member of a college. We are a collegiate university, and there are 31 colleges there to support students. It's really a community of scholars that live, socialize, work together. And as a postgrad student, the real opportunities for sort of interdisciplinary research, discussion groups, networking, all opportunities for you to study deeper and delve into your subject of interest and other academic exploits. You may also live at your college. Most of the colleges offer postgrad accommodation, some family, some couples accommodation, and they can also support you both pastorally and with other guidance. But we offer a huge academic variety of courses. And part of what Cambridge is looking for is that we want to know that you fully understand the course that you're studying for and that you're prepared for the work involved. We are a research-led university, and all of our postgrad courses, whether they are taught masters or PhDs, will involve some kind of project or dissertation or research in order to complete them. So it's a little bit different to perhaps other global universities that might be much more of a classroom-based learning experience. In the UK and at Cambridge in particular, it's very much self-directed learning supported by our academics. We will give you the facilities, the libraries, the space to do this research, but you will actually specialize in your chosen subject area. And you can look at the wide range of subject areas that we offer, over 300, as I mentioned, by going on our course directory. So the QR code is there. You can look at courses by keyword. So if you're interested in engineering or law, you can enter that keyword and find out about all the courses that we offer regarding that subject. Now, we are an academically selective university, so we are looking for those highest grades. If you have studied in the UK or are studying in the UK, our university minimum requirement is a bachelor's of 2-1, or an equivalent from an international university. So that typically is a GPA of around 3.5 to 3.7 if the academic requirement is a first out of 4, 4.3 out of 5, 4.6 out of 5, or around about 70% plus. Again, each course has its own specific academic requirements. So do check that course directory and the website for details specific to your current university and how you're graded on that. Of course, We also need to know that you can work, write, and converse at the high levels of English that are needed. And you might be required to achieve an English language qualification as part of a condition of entry. So ETS are here talking about the TOEFL. Our TOEFL entry requirement is 110 overall, with at least 25 in each element. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about our TOEFL requirements. ETS are here, and they can, of course, support you with this and with your study towards an English language requirement. The one thing I would say is that you do not need to have achieved this at the point you make your application. If we make you an offer, it may be conditional on you achieving a specific English language qualification. But apart from the grades and the language requirements, what else really makes a strong application? We are looking for your suitability for the course. So the academic merit, your GPA, your degree, the references that you provide from your academic institution, and your suitability for the course. So your experience, that might be your research experience if you're going into a research intensive master's or PhD. It might be the skills that you bring. So many of our courses, you have to have studied the subject prior to moving on to the master's or PhD. So for instance, if you were looking at an engineering master's, you would have required an engineering or a STEM kind of background. If you're looking at an LLM course, it's not a conversion course. You will have needed to have studied law or an area relating to law before coming on to that LLM. It might be the specific courses taken. For some of our courses, you might have been required to achieve certain maths abilities, and we'll come on to that in a little while. Or it might be your career goals, where you're looking at going. Other factors that might impact your application might be the availability of supervisors. As I mentioned, all of our courses do have a research aspect to them, even our taught masters. And we would be looking to match you with an appropriate supervisor. So it does depend on the availability of those supervisors, particularly if you're considering a PhD. Again, it might consider space on the course, the growing number of applications to the supervisors that are available, and of course the balance of the course as well. So the student to faculty ratio considerations in order to support you in the way that you need supporting to develop your own interests and be successful on your course. The best way to determine this and to find out if you are a really good fit is to actually read the details and make sure you fully understand the course in depth. And again, if you look on our course directory on our web pages, all of the courses will show you this kind of information. So for example, if you're interested in an MPhil in advanced computer science, you can find that online. It will give you an overview of the course. So what the course aims to do, giving you the relevant experience, what that course might lead to. So it might be preparation for a PhD, it might be a course, a master's within itself. You can move on to the study tab, and that will tell you in more detail some of the papers or modules available within the course. It will then go on to the requirements and what we require. And I'll talk a little bit about that in more depth later, but it might be that, you require to have produced a research proposal, or you might be required to have specific background academics. You can also go to the sidebar here and you can find out more about the course on the department website. You can contact the course directly regarding inquiries regarding your application. So we really want you to find out in advance to make sure that the course you're applying to is the best fit for you. So looking at some of the ways that you can find out this, as I said, is looking perhaps at MPhil in advanced computer science. You can see here the research areas that we look into. So if these are areas that are of interest to you, you might like to look at some of the research proposals we have, or some of the papers or modules that we have related to these topics as part of your course. You can find out what's unique about the course, so what it's designed to do. So it is designed to prepare students for potential future doctoral research. You will see that this course is 5 taught modules and then a research project. And that research project might be theoretical, it might be applied, it might be in a live organisation. So again, looking at what's unique about the course and what the course can offer you in terms of fit. And then, of course, the entry requirements you can see. So here we ask for a first class honours degree or the equivalent of a 3.7 GPA. We'd look at maths to A-level standard or the highest class 12 standard, and programming experience would be required. Other courses, so things like a development studies. So this one you can see it's a much more interdisciplinary course that provides that sort of mixture of economics, law, sociology. There's one core module that all students take, and then a number of optional modules. So again, it's linking whether those optional modules are linked to areas that you have interest in or want to study. And again, you can see here from the entry requirements, a statement of interest and a research proposal. So it doesn't need to be a really in-depth research proposal, but we want to know right from the outset what areas of research interest you within our area of focus. What do you want to find the answers to? And then how can we help you find the answers to the questions that you want to investigate? And finally, something like our MPhil in management. So this is a slightly different area where it's not an MBA. Our MBAs at Cambridge are very much post-experience. This is for students pre-experience and for students who have not studied business or management as part of their undergraduate degree. So it's a really great stepping stone. Say perhaps you're interested in project management or team management and you're coming from an engineering background or a law background and you want to take your first step into management. So this is a great, again, course to do that. Again, it will show you specifically the entry requirements. So the first class honours degree or equivalent, your academic requirements. And then we're looking for a reason for applying. Why do you want to do this course? How does it fit in with your career goals or what you're doing now or what you want to achieve? We're also looking for a statement of purpose on teamwork, how you understand teamwork, what you've done to develop teamwork, what teamwork means to you, your reflections on your experiences. And again, quantitative skills. So we need to see in your uploaded transcripts that you have achieved quantitative skills in algebra, calculus, graphs, in order to make sure that you will cope with the maths content within the course. And again, you can find out a little bit more about the class profile by looking online. And it really is about finding out about the course and making sure that not only academically, but also your skills, your research interests can be matched with what we are doing and where our research interests lie as a university. The application process is very simple for our masters and PhDs. It's an online applicant portal. So again, on each of the web pages, you will see a small button that says apply now. You apply, you upload all the information that's required. So it might be a research proposal, it might be a statement of purpose, it might be a CV or a resume, it will be your references. You will need to pay an application fee. if you are looking to study a master's. For PhD, we don't require an application fee, and there is plenty of advice and guidance available, not only on the portal, but through our web pages, through contacts. You can see down here, cam.ac.uk applying. You can contact them. You can contact our admissions team to find out any support that you need with your application process. And very briefly, this is the timeline. So you will choose your course, and as Sachin said, you'll be looking at that perhaps a year or so in advance, making sure that any research proposals you have match the research interests that we have, making sure that the course fits not only what you want to study and achieve, but perhaps your future career aspirations. Check our course and funding deadlines. Many of our course deadlines close in April of the year preceding entry. So April 2025 for entry and September 2025. However, we do offer a lot of funding, but our funding deadlines often complete much earlier than this in December. If you are applying for funding, you do need to have your full application in before the funding deadline, even if this is earlier than the course closing deadline. The other thing to remember is references. We require 2 references, and your application is not considered complete until those references have been received. So it's a good idea to keep in touch with your referees to remind them to make sure that they have sent that reference in. Ideally, we are looking for academic references, somebody who knows you academically and can vouch for your abilities to cope. If you have been out of academia for at least 4 years, then one of those references could be a professional reference instead. You'll also choose 2 colleges that you may want to be a member of. We talked about being a member of a college that can support you. So you will pick 2 college preferences that you would like to support you throughout your studies. And this is very much a personal preference. It might depend on the kind of community you want to belong to. It might depend on some of the funding that some of these colleges can offer. And then you will submit your application, usually by the December or January funding deadlines, or by the course deadline if you don't require any funding available. And for some of the courses, we will interview as well, again, to find out a little bit more about you, about your aspirations, about your abilities. Again, you will be advised prior if an interview is required. And for most of our postgraduate courses, they will be online interviews. I will talk very briefly about funding opportunities. So there are plenty of funding opportunities available at Cambridge. The thing I would suggest is to go onto our funding search webpage. You can then key in your course, where you're based. It will come up with all the internal funding that you are eligible for. When you make your application, there is also a small box on the application form that says, I wish to be considered for funding. Please tick that box, and we will consider you for any funding opportunities that there are that are internal. If you submit your application, you can't go back and click that afterwards. And of course, there are plenty of external funding opportunities available as well through the Commonwealth Trust, Gates Cambridge, and some of your own in-country opportunities. I will leave it there because I know we've got 2 other really good universities to continue. You can find out more, and I will share this with you. But please, again, feel free to scan the QR code, and you can find out more about all the opportunities to interact with Cambridge there.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing the information about University of Cambridge with our students. I will now request Nauman to please share information about UCL with our students, University College London.
Am I audible? And I hope the screen is shared.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. Thank you, ETS. Thank you, Shiksha. I will, in the interest of time, I'll just quickly move on to. Firstly, I would love to talk about UCL. I represent UCL, University College London. It's one of the top 10 universities in the world. We host around 55,000 students this year. We have hosted 55,000 this year, and more than 50% of them are international. So we have a huge range of diversity in terms of the students whom we recruit for UG, for undergraduate and postgraduate courses. And these students comes from more than 190 countries all around the world. We offer degrees from at least uh, for UG we offer more than 450 courses, and for PG we offer more than 650 courses in these various faculties which are there. So any sort of course which you're looking for, we definitely would have any discipline you're looking for, we definitely would have some relevant course available for you. To talk about UCL's history, something which we really are proud of is that we are one of the disruptors in England. UCL was the first university in England to welcome students from different religions. Women were not allowed to take up higher education in UK. So UCL was the first to tore up those rule books and allow women the opportunity to take higher education, get degrees, and even work in England. And UCL was also one of the first university to have a student union within the university. So we have made various disruptions in the world, and this is what we expect from most of our students when we are recruiting. And this is what we expect in their application as well. Um, Coming to where we are, so UCL is right in the heart of London. So we have two campuses. This is our Bloomsbury campus. Bloomsbury campus is surrounded by interesting things. If you see, I don't know if I can zoom this, but if you see, this is where the main portico is as you enter from here, and you see the main portico of UCL, and which is surrounded by various student communities and student halls. There is British Museum, London Eye, Oxford Street, and much more. And this again is very accessible. So King's Cross Station or Euston Station is one of the closest stations to our main campus. If we move towards the east of London, we have another very interesting campus recently had come up. This is so the Bloomsbury campus is more of the heritage ones, and this is the modern campus, which has many courses, recently added courses being offered here. Again, this campus uh, has various attractions around. One of the most important thing which I want to highlight with this campus is very close to Canary Wharf, where we have our management courses being taught. Again, a best place to study management, surrounded by various international companies, headquarters, and so. So, location-wise, we have covered both the aspects, the central London and even the East Campus. The kind of support which we offer at UCL is extraordinary. Like I've already said, we were the first to come up with the student union, so you'll definitely get a chance to do much more than just studies. Apart from that, we have experts in well-being and disability and mental health support. In terms of accommodation, in terms of international student support, we do have mentors, not just when you join, but throughout the course. There are various support facilities available, be it career, be it looking for part-time jobs, and much more. I'll cover those in the later part of the presentation. Something which I really like to brag about UCL is we do have an amazing set of community. Our alumni has been like a very diverse set of alumni which we have. As you can see on the screen, we have, so one of the most popular ones is Christopher Nolan, who has studied English literature at UCL and was also a president of the UCL Film Society. Film and Drama Society, no-brainer for that. And then we have had amazing Indian alumni as well. To name a few, we had Mahatma Gandhi, who studied at UCL, Rabindranath Tagore, who studied at UCL, Dr. Databhai Nauroji studied and taught at UCL. So I think we have had amazing personalities which had come out, and all of them had contributed in a way which has made a big change in the way of living and big change in the society. Now, if I talk about the careers, we do have something called as UCL careers in the university, where which will definitely guide all our undergraduates and postgraduates as soon as they join in terms of every aspects. Be it very trivial like making your LinkedIn profile and clicking professional pictures for it, to polishing your CV according to UK employers, uh, your cover letters being polished again, and we have job portals and student portals which again would help you with part-time jobs as student ambassadors within the university, or even outside university, something which is relevant to your course. And then there will be a lot of advertisement about the full-time jobs as well. As you can see, we have almost 91% of our graduates. This is 2021 HESA data, but almost 91% of our graduates are employed or are on the postgraduate study right after graduating. And our careers team really does wonder when when you get on to them with one-to-one. There's something we expect from all of you guys, all of the students, is that you be very proactive about it, be it any university. All three of us have amazing career cells, and something which we want from you is you be proactively interested and invested in applying for jobs, or be it any entrepreneurial journey you want to take ahead with, and we would be happy to help. These are a few of our very prominent employers who usually employ students from our university. I'm sorry, I'm rushing through actually, because in the interest of time, I would want my other colleague also to complete. This is something which I like the most to talk about. So these two amazing personality, these are our alumni now. Both of them studied master's course, different courses in UCL. Now, there was a story behind this startup, and Dr. Nikhit Anil Bhai, who had this idea. He suffered from a tragic loss where he lost his father in COVID, and that's how this thing came into picture. So they worked on Nikhit along with Sonakshi. They worked on something which is now has been accepted by NHS as well. So they have developed something called as your Q, which is a finger-based wearable for patients in hospital. So this technology allows patients vital readings such as heart rate, blood pressures, and it's monitored continuously so that any problems which come up are dealt with. So Nikhit and Sonakshi, both of them coming from different backgrounds, different courses, were supported to grow their business, and they were a part of a hatchery incubator program which we had at BaseX, which is at King's Cross. So this we have an incubator program where any student who's currently studying or had studied can be a part of, and we provide them with amazing help, as in terms of providing them an office space to uh, amazing Nobel laureates we have, and the kind of support they provide in terms of their experience and expertise. So all these kind of support really helps them to work better on their entrepreneurial journey. Now, this is something which is fun, which you should never miss. Be it any of our universities, we all have amazing, amazing. These are various clubs and societies which are there in UCL, and if you're looking for something which is very serious relating to your course, you will find that we have more than 450 clubs at UCL. So anything what you're looking for, you will definitely find something or some interest. And if you cannot find one, we always encourage you guys to be the first person to thought about it. So maybe you can start that, and we would be happy to help you with that. So there are various clubs, someone who is interested in finance can go for financial technology as a club. Someone interested, or maybe you just want to join it for fun. So there are various fun societies that. So I remember one of the society meetings which I attended was a bubble tea making society, where they were talking about how they can improve the texture of the bubble. So it's fun to attend all these societies, and until you reach UK, it is very important that you be far more academic. But when you are in UK and when you are studying there, you need to be more extracurricular as well, and look for various ways to uh, make your application very holistic and your profile very diverse, so that you get employed by the employers. Now, we do have various accommodations. I would not take much of time. It's just a slide. Have a look at it, just to give you an idea how much it would cost for a self-catered or a catered accommodation per week. And it's fairly easy. You can just make an application from our website, and accommodations team will connect with you. Uh, all the photos and videos and prices, everything is there on the website. So that's fairly easy to gauge. Something which I would really want to stress on, firstly, a tuition fee usually ranges between £25,000 to £50,000. That depends from course to course. The lab-based courses are quite expensive, and the non-lab-based courses are towards the uh, lower end of the fees. Living expenses, again, I would say with the kind of expenditure which I have seen lately, you must have at least on an average of somewhere between 15 to £1,600 per month. Like I've already said, part-time jobs are available. Usually, we actually recruit a lot of student ambassadors for various purposes, and that really helps you. I personally feel if you have time, only if you have time, and you are in a way a very good multitasker, definitely try and look for something outside the university as well. That gives you another edge in terms of understanding the local etiquettes, the slangs, different accent, because you're going from India, you might not have the same accent. So you get to learn more. University staff and colleagues are trained in such a manner that they they are in a way very much easily understandable, and they speak in a way which is far more easy to understand, and for everyone, for all the international students. So yeah, if possible, you can try for part-time jobs outside the university as well. Scholarships, we do have various scholarships, especially for Indian students. We have something called as India Excellence Scholarship. This scholarship is only for the master students. But we do have something called as UCL Global Undergraduate Scholarship, which is a complete fee waiver for the ones who get this scholarship at UCL. So we try and aim for at least 3 Indian students who get this scholarship every year. Do make so again, this scholarship is something which is not just merit based, but need plus merit based. So anyone whose family income is, let's say, lesser than 43,000 pounds. So it's there on the website, so you can check the actual amount. But that if if uh, if that's the case, then you are eligible to make an application for this scholarship, and then eventually you choose on the basis of the merits. So and again, UCL Global Master Scholarship, which is a £15,000 off on the tuition fee. Since Sarah has covered a lot about PG, we recruit the students in the same way with similar deadlines. So I will not spend time on guiding you about the PG applications. I'll quickly go through the UG deadlines if there are any UG students here who has applied through UCAS. So definitely you might be aware of this. This is just to give you an idea. These are a few of the key dates when you're supposed to accept and everything. So I guess by now you must all have been aware of this. uh, what we are looking for, this is for the prospective students who are looking for the upcoming intakes. Ideally, we expect you to have somewhere between A A to ABB. It depends from course to course again. Okay, I have not highlighted CBSE grades here, but yeah, we're looking for somewhere around 395s and 290s in 5 subjects in CBSE and ISC board. So these are a few of our entry requirements. But again, you can scan and see there is a QR code given here through which it will take you to the search bar. Just like Sarah said, use the keywords on our website as well, and you will be able to see all the relevant courses which are there. And every course is absolutely designed in a way, like, the course page is designed in a way that you'll get maximum information from that page. And there are also various places where you will find the emails of the relevant person who would be able to answer if you cannot find anything. So make sure you do visit our course page and see what kind of course we offer in the discipline what you're looking for. Quickly, I will throw some light on the other aspects. So for UG specifically, we require predictive grades. Then there's something. So usually the tests are a part of our application in many of the courses which we ask for. So, and in few cases we also require portfolios. So do make sure that you read the course page completely and understand what all tests are required. I have highlighted a few. So new entrance test. So there's something called as ESAT for engineering, TMUA for economics, Tara for various courses, sorry, including computations and even for management courses. So do make sure that you are aware of this test. These tests are advertised on UATA, also University Admissions Test. So this is the website through which you can get the maximum information about this test, and you'll get a complete idea of what these tests are, what kind of questions they ask, how long it is, and everything. So you need not worry about the information of the test. You will find everything on their website and at UCL's website as well. Something which is far more important than anything for us, for two colleagues as well, they would really want you to have, all of us would want you to have an amazing personal statement. This is one of the deal maker or breaker for maximum students, for maximum course at UCL. So, this is an opportunity for you to show how different you are from other students and what have you done in your field. Unfortunately, or fortunately for some students, it's only 4,000 characters through which you can explain. Lately, I'm if for especially for the UG students, you apply through a portal called as UCAS, wherein you will be writing the personal statement. Now, personal statement has changed into 3 questions. Previously, it was an essay. This remains the same for the PG, as PG applications are directly from the websites from all 3 of our universities. So that remains the same for PG, but for UG, it's 3 questions now, where you would be answering. So one of the question would be, why would you want to study this course or subject? So ideally, what happens here is this is the opportunity for you guys to showcase your passion, curiosity, interest, knowledge for your chosen subject area, and also to demonstrate to university and colleges why it's a good fit for the university and also for your future ambitions. So make sure you cover these points which I've highlighted on the website when you're trying to answer the question. The other question is how you have your qualifications and studies helped you to prepare for this course. So again, this is an opportunity for chance for you to show evidence of the relevant or transferable skills you have gained from your formal education, and highlight your understanding of how this will help you to succeed in the subject area. The last question would be, what else have you done to prepare outside of education, and why are these experiences useful? So this is your chance to talk about any other activity you have undertaken outside of your formal education, or personal experiences, which further demonstrates your suitability for the course. So this section is likely to be like highly personal about you, and anything you include in this section should reflect on why you're including it. So it's not just like you're stating your experiences and something which is extra super curricular, I would say. That's the word I would choose to use. Look out for super curricular activities, examples for them in your in your discipline, and try and innovate in that, and maybe that will really help you to answer this question. That is it from my end. Thank you so much for listening to me. I We have a lot of questions, and then we also have another colleague who would really want to focus more on in the interest of time, which we have already passed, I guess. Uh, Lakshmi, can you
Sure.
invite?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Raman, for sharing information. I will now request Pras to please step in and share some information about Imperial College London with our students.
Perfect. I think so. My screen is visible, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So, thank you, Noman. I really appreciate you keeping the time in mind. And hello, everyone. Good evening. So I'm Faraz. I work with Imperial College London and in the capacity of student recruitment executive, as you see on the screen. And generally, thank you for holding on and thank you for holding this session. You have heard from two very good institutions, and I'm just going to add upon information since what they've told, and it's just going to build up. So you have three very good universities in front of you. So, I mean, my Imperial College London, it is basically based upon science, technology, engineering, and medicine, and business as well. So we are usually known as our STEM-B Institute in general. I'm going to move quickly through the slides. All right, perfect. So just to shed some light about the history of Imperial. So it was founded in 1907 with simple but powerful mission to be useful. All right. So, but we believe that before you can usefully change something, you first need to truly understand it. And that is the essence of what we do. And that is the essence of what we look in our students as well. So we're arguably the only STEM-B institute across UK. So that gives us very good specialization and edge that we are very focused on what we teach and the education we impart. So yeah, moving on, talking about something that we are quite proud of. So we are first in the UK and Europe and second in the world according to the QS World University Rankings. And this is thanks to our strong performance in academic reputation, employer reputation, and sustainability. So, just to give you some more idea about what our community and what the imperial community looks like, I mean, we've talked about the history that's mentioned on the left. I can proudly talk about how we are a vibrant global community with over 23,000 full and part-time students, 8,000 staff members. We have four faculty structures and 9 campuses, which I'll just give you a glimpse of two of our campuses. The one on the left is called the South Kensington campus, and the right one is the White City one. So you can see it's quite a green, sprawling, centrally located West Londony campus. So yeah, if you happen to be in London, feel free to visit the campus as well. Talking about what academics and what courses we offer. All right, starting from Faculty of Engineering. Our Faculty of Engineering is one of the largest and most diverse in the UK. From aeronautical to electrical engineering, from bioengineering to design, students here work on real world challenges using cutting edge technology. Limitation of slides has limited me not to put our labs in the presentation, but if you go on the website, you can see how theory, it's a very important part of what we do, but implementation and practical knowledge and application of that theory using our multiple labs that are there, it's also a pivotal part of what you study. So moving on to the next faculty, which is the Faculty of Natural Sciences, Life Sciences, Maths, and Physics. Our programs combine rigorous academics with practical lab and research experience to prepare students for both academic and industry careers. You can choose from a chemistry program, or the mathematics minors and majors, and an undergraduate or postgraduate level, and also physics as well. So, quickly moving through one pivotal part, which is the medicine, the Faculty of Medicine. So, we give out courses. We have a 6 year MBBS course, which is the additional 6 years course. We do have an MBBS medicine graduate entry, which is a 4 years course, but that is for after you've had 2 years of experience. And we have very good links with London hospitals as well. So, our integration into the industry and having industry experience also becomes a very pivotal part of our teaching journey. So, talking about the business school, I think so it's one of our youngest child in the faculty hierarchy or faculty structure, I would say. So, Imperial's Business School is unique in its foundation as well. It combines business with data science, innovation, and technology. So, undergraduate operations option which you can see on the left is the BSc Economics, Finance, and Data Science, and you have much more options when you move into the postgraduate level as well. So the business school does a post graduation segment as well. So yeah, talking about career, Naman actually very fondly pointed out that you have brilliant career support from each of the universities. There are dedicated departments which are there to help you in terms of securing your employment and giving you a path of career. The only thing that the institute demands from you is to, I mean, oh, all this while my video has been off. So I'm back online. So yes, I mean, what we need from your end is to be very proactive. All right. If you're going for, I'm just going to take a post graduation example because it is very convenient for me to explain. So if you're going for a post graduation course, which is probably just 1 year of study, we advise students to get in touch with the career department as soon as they are there. Let the career services know that your idea or your plan is to work after your course ends, and chalk out a plan with them, sit down with them, use the resources of the alumni engagement, employer events, tailored career support. You have one-on-one sessions with the career services team. You can talk to your professors. You have such tools at your disposal. All you need to do is be proactive and sit down with them in chalking out that plan. So we have good career. I mean, we could have industry networks as well. AstraZeneca, IBM, Meta, some companies that come to my mind when I talk about industry networks. But one thing that I actually also got to know very recently about when we met the team, this is going to be interesting for people who are looking into starting their own ventures and business. So yeah, we have an enterprise lab. All right, the enterprise lab helps entrepreneurial mindset to give them that tools, grow their networks. This enterprise lab sits down with you. If you have an entrepreneurial idea, they will get into it by dissecting it, helping you with the right tools, helping you understand how to make it into a reality. Just an idea can be made into a reality. Getting you, I mean, not getting you, but suggesting you how can you work with private funding as well as public funding. These are some things that the enterprise lab helps out with. And yeah, the Tiger says is we support the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders and startups. So this idea is basically the Cub is basically an idea which comes into the enterprise lab, and we make it into a fully grown tiger to prowl on the startup world that there is. So I've given you an idea of how our courses work. I've given you an idea of how our enterprise lab supports fresh ideas. Now, what makes a strong application? We've talked about serious academic interest in subject, which are your grades. Absolutely, there are minimum grade requirements, which I'll show you later in the presentation. But coming down to ability to think independently. So this is very critical that you have to critically analyze why do you want to get on this subject? Why do you want to study this subject? Because this question, no matter if someone from the institute asks you or not, you should ask yourself, because this is going to be the key to getting employment, getting research, getting good academics, all that. To think independently and criticize and critique your choices. Then comes in if you have skills and what makes you the ideal applicant. All right. So then our idea is to consider a holistic application. It's not going to be one dynamic that affects it greatly. It's going to be a very holistic approach to it. One key thing about it is that the grade requirement. All right, these are some grade requirements that are mentioned on screen: A levels, IB, APs, and on the right bottom screen, you can see the CBSC and ICSC percentages as well. This will give you a rough idea of what minimum grade requirements that we require for our various programs. Obviously, if you go out on the particular course page, you will be able to find out more, and the website is very easily navigable. If you go out, you can put down the course entry requirements. You'll find out which board you are applicable for, and then when you select that particular part, you can see which what are the minimum and the typical offer requirements as well. So it's very easily laid out. This is just to give you an idea of what we have. All right. So, one thing that I wanted to emphasize upon is one application component is the personal statement, which we discussed previously. So, UCAS has made it interesting now. Earlier, it used to be one long essay where you have to talk about your grades, your extracurriculars, your supercurriculars. No, it is fun three questions. All right. So I think so. They're on the, yeah. All right. So the third point, key questions to ask yourself: what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? What you have done so far. If you have these answers for yourself, it makes up a good base for writing your personal statement. And just to give you an idea how the personal statement is, divided for us, it's going to be 75 to 90% of talking about your academic interest. That academic interest shows your subject knowledge and exploration, that you have done your research. All right, okay, I want to do computer science. Why do I want to do computer science? What is my motivation to study computer science? Why I think that it's going to be a good choice for me, both academically as well as my personality choice as well. Understanding the demands of that course, does it align with what you are expecting and what you are providing to study that course? And obviously, motivation, as I have already talked about. Then comes in the 10 to 25% of extracurriculars, school based non academic activities and non school related activities, both are essential. Not mandatory, but essential to write a good personal statement. To give you an idea how these work, example of extracurricular activities are sports and fitness activities, charity work, music and art, debate clubs. You do MUNs, you mention them. Outdoor activities club, chess and strategy game, all that in listed here and more. Um, Basically, personal statement is your document which makes you stand from another 90%, or let's say if there are 10 people who have scored 90%, if there are 15 people who have scored 90%, what is a differentiating factor? One of them, very crucial differentiating factor, is your personal statement. And writing a good personal statement is going to be a pivotal and a very key aspect to your application. That's why the emphasis is drawn upon that. As I was telling you earlier, what are the three questions that they ask? Why do you want to study this course or subject at, let's say, Imperial in general? So, you can tell them you need to research beyond the surface level research that there is. All right, you have an idea of studying computer science, but yeah, you have to get into it. You have to understand what modules are being taught. How do you interact with these modules? Then comes in the second question of how have your qualification and studies helped you to prepare for this course or subject? Like, what have you studied in your grade 11, grade 12, grade 10 that make you an eligible or an interested candidate in studying what you're going to be studying? How do you see your education, current education, supplementing what you're going to be studying? Relevance does matter to it. So the third question, what else have you done to prepare outside of education, and why are these experiences useful? It talks about your work experience, employment, volunteering, personal life experiences or responsibilities, supercurricular, extracurricular activities, achievements outside school. If I give you an example, I think so. I would like to talk about one personal statement that we came across. So there was an MBBS student who was very good with cooking, and that MBBS student wrote about cooking and seeing cooking as a different combination of ingredients come together and make a good dish in general. That's how she connected medicine as well. And arguably that was one of the most used example. That's why it's here. So it was a good example to be talked about. So just giving you an idea of how you can relate your skills, both academic and non-academic, and you have to relate your skills to make up a good personal statement as well. I'm sorry I'm rushing through this one, but the shortage of time, the clock keeps me on my head. But this is to give you some idea of the admission tests that we have. All right, most of our courses at an undergraduate level require you to go through some of the entrance tests. As Naman also pointed out, we have TMUA ESAT for some of the courses, UCAT specifically for the MBBS course. So you can take a look at this. There are definitely on each of the course pages these test dates, test curriculums. Will have links to for you guys to test curriculums as well. And if your course requires an entrance test or not, that's also going to be there on the course page in particularly to your interest. But this is just to give you an idea. If your course is there, you can see which entrance test is applicable to this particular one. More of it in admission tests and interviews. So just have a good look, see if your course is there, and we can discuss about it later as well. All right, key deadlines for ESAT and TMUA. These are key deadlines. Just keep in mind for ESAT and TMUA, which are typically taken in October and January. But so, as we've talked about, your UG applications generally start 1 year prior to your intake date. So let's say you're going to be going to the intake is 27. So year 26 is when you ideally start your application because you have multiple checkpoints to cover. You have multiple processes to do. You have to submit your grades. You have to take an entrance exam. You have to appear for an interview. You have to apply for your visa. You have to pack your bags. You have to keep your utensils. Yada yada yada. There are a lot of things. All right, have time and ease out the process for yourself, and that's one key thing for international education and the processes that come through with it, that you have to have time. So give yourself that amount of time because you do have academic deadlines as well. Keep those deadlines in mind. It is not advisable to write to admissions department requesting for extensions, but since you know it beforehand, it's always good to do that. All right. So most of our interviews they happen in one-on-one interviews, panel interviews, group interviews, depending upon which course you're going for, depending upon the academic area of that particularity. So these are some examples. So design engineering has a one-on-one interview covering maths, engineering, and design communication skills. So basically, academic interviews. They're going to be talking about your academic interests. They're going to be looking at your personal statement discussion, as you can see in computing. They're going to be looking at your motivation for computing. So, when I talk about motivation, it does not just come about if you read our modules or you've been through the modules and you have an idea. No, have more implied knowledge. What is computing doing in today's world? How is it relevant? What is it going to have more future relevance, let's say in the coming years? You're going to be studying it for the next 3 years. What is the potential in that subject to have to be there in the next 3 years? So do more research than on the surface of it is. I mean, just keep coming back to research again and again, but yeah, it's a pivotal part of it. All right, so I have rushed through the presentation because I think so. I want to have time for question and answers, but yeah. So that's something you can scan. Be a part of our mailing list. Um, the email ID is mentioned on the bottom left. It's called india@imperial.ac.uk. Samreen Khan has mentioned she's the country manager, and my name is on the bottom of it. Feel free to reach out. And with that, we open the floor for questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Faraz. Now, students, we are open for the Q&A. If you have questions that you want to ask directly, I will request you to please raise hand. Meanwhile, I'll take some questions from the Q&A section. We have a lot of questions, but I'll start first with questions that are regarding the English language test proficiency. Then I'll take common questions for the universities. So, Sachin, there is one question from a student who is asking that what is the sectional cutoff required for the UK universities?
Again, refer to the university website. Like Sarah talked about the section level cutoffs at Cambridge. Similarly, every program would have those. So I think it's important for you to refer to the program specific requirements on the university website.
Okay. I'll move on to next question. This question is like some universities accept MOI, medium of instruction, then how TOEFL can be a benefit for me if I'm applying to UK universities?
See, there is beyond an admission, and uh, Sarah, Norman, for us can talk about more. But in terms of, so what does TOEFL or a standardized EAD does? It not just helps you getting the admission, but also makes you campus ready to be to really be absorbed in that environment. And what we have seen is students, like we talked about on-campus jobs, like a teaching assistant or a research assistant. A lot of such opportunities require you to have a certain specific section level score of TOEFL in your speaking section, right? So for you to be eligible for a teaching assistant. So there are a lot of fringe benefits that TOEFL really brings to the table for students. And similarly, in your off-campus, on-campus jobs, we have also seen that corporates and companies and institutions asking for your ELT scores just to make sure that you have the right conversational and English language competency to really do well in
Hmm.
in those jobs. So I go beyond just the admission to the university, but there are a lot of other benefits that one can avail
Mhm.
through the TOEFL test.
Okay. I'll move on to the next question. The student has asked that the student was planning for US for next year, but seeing the current situation, he's now shifting his interest. But I think he was thinking that TOEFL is widely accepted in the US. Will TOEFL suffice his English language test requirement for the UK?
Hands down, yes, 100%. And my colleagues can talk about more, but from whatever we know, and I see a very strong nodding from Sarah and from Faraz and Noman. So yes, hands down. So you should not be worried. TOEFL is accepted globally, not just US or UK. So it's for you to decide.
Yeah. Another question for you, Sachin, is that the student wants to ask that does TOEFL help the student in providing the materials or some online classes so that they can prepare for the TOEFL test? And if there is, that what charges do you take for these materials and classes?
So there are a lot of free content that we're providing to students. Please have his email ID. We will, Lakshmi, and we can share ebook on TOEFL test prep, specially curated for Indian students that we can share free of cost. It costs around 1,100 rupees, but we are happy to share that free of cost. Along with that, I mentioned about TOEFL Test Ready, which is an AI kind of powered platform for TOEFL test prep. The moment you sign up on TOEFL Test Ready, there's a lot of free content and test prep that you will be able to avail on that. So a lot of free resources that can help you prepare well for TOEFL. And we are happy to kind of share those, Lakshmi,
Yeah.
and you can share those resources with the student.
Also, students, we are now, providing free TOEFL classes to all the students who are preparing for the TOEFL test. So we'll get in touch with you and we'll help you with these classes. Yeah. I'll take up one last question for the TOEFL. That is, student has asked that are TOEFL score required if a student is graduated with a creative writing and psychology degree from the US recently and is now exploring master's program in the UK?
I think again, going by the program requirements, it depends on the program and the university that where you want to pursue that program. Sarah mentioned about postgraduate programs with TOEFL requirements. So refer to the university website and the program admission requirement. That will help you kind of clarify that.
Okay. One last question, sorry, Sachin, for you. Can TOEFL increase my chances of visa in UK or Europe?
So great question. I think this is a great question. There are certain countries in Europe, including Germany, Ireland, that have made TOEFL mandatory as part of the visa process. You have to
Right.
submit your English language test course for student visa in Ireland and Germany. That said, as I said, along with that, there are benefits in terms of a higher success rate because you are able to articulate well, even in visas which do not
Mm.
require that. So we will always recommend students to take standardized tests to really improve their chances of
Yeah.
getting a student visa.
Okay. 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 Now I'll move on to some questions that are for the universities. So there's one interesting question from a student. He's asking that he read some data on Statistica when he said that median average salary in the UK is around £35,000. Is this sufficient for us to survive in the UK?
Um, I'm happy to answer that because I'm living in the UK currently. Um, yes, it is. There are many, many people that live on much less than that. There are many, many people that live on much more. It really depends on your lifestyle, and that's how long is a piece of string. But £35,000, particularly, if you are single and young, and depending on where you are based in the UK and where you want to live in the UK, should really be sufficient to survive.
Yeah. Thanks, Sarah. I'll move on to the next question. Karan has asked a question that he is currently pursuing his bachelor's from Delhi University in commerce And he's asking that what kind of SOPs and LORs can make his application more effective if he wants to apply to these prestigious universities.
All right, I'll go ahead with this question. So it again now depends on what kind of course the Karan wants to apply for. Since he's already doing Bachelor's of Commerce, I think all three of us would suggest to go for a specialized course, like not going for a generic business management course, but more, in Bachelor's of Commerce, you usually study many different subjects
Mm,
like marketing, finance, human resource, operations, logistics, and universities do offer these kind of courses. So make sure you choose something which is really specialized if you're sure that is something where you want to land in your career. And if you're still unsure, then you can still, like, explore the generic courses like business management, international management, strategic marketing management, and then eventually. So when you have chosen the course, you will have to see what kind of modules they're offering, what they expect from you, and on the basis of that, you write your personal statement.
mm,
So it completely depends on what university is expecting and also what you want from the course. Everything needs
mm,
to sync. Only then there are cases where we have rejected students not because they were not good enough, but they were expecting something which we cannot deliver. So
mm,
make sure there is a sync in your personal statement. And also make sure that you highlight, especially when you're looking for masters, you need to highlight good work experience during your undergrad. So it can be in form of volunteering work. It can be in form of internships, but some hands-on experience which
mm,
shows that you have transferable skills.
mm,
So not just the academics, but these kind of experience, and along with that, maybe something which is quite different and
mm,
in the field, which shows your innovative way of approach, and something which is different. Like Faraz has already mentioned, you'll have to be different from the others who have scored the similar grades. So I think these are few of the keys which you need to follow.
yeah.
And if you read the course page thoroughly, it will help you so much when you're drafting a personal statement.
Mm.
I think, yeah, that's from my end. If Sarah or Faraz wants to add anything on this.
Bang on, Naman. I agree. Seconded.
Okay. I'll move on to the next question. This question is from a parent who is asking for her son that if you can tell that what is the campus life and a life in the UK for students, for international students. The student is planning for 2026.
Me. Again, Sarah has the upper hand on this one, but I can like attempt to do it. But Sarah can please feel free to add some. Sarah and Naman both. So if I get the question right, how is it different from the usual UK life and the student life?
So this,
Is
I
that
think the
what they're trying to
student is
ask?
asking that how is the general life in UK and the campus life both?
Oh, I mean, see, I'm going to see this and I'll try and answer this in a more holistic approach, like how international education is beneficial.
Mm,
It's a lot about exposure, all right? The trends that are being taught, the people that are coming in with their experiences and their education knowledge as well. That's you're in a common pool of people who have so much knowledge from different regions as well. And when you talk about academic excellence, that's where the research is happening. That's where the center of research is. That's where the excellence of research is happening in these universities and these cities. So that's the kind of expertise you're getting down to. You're studying from probable Nobel laureates as well. You have academics who have won Nobel prizes in general, who are, I mean, just to explain what is the level of academics at Imperial again. And so we have a professor called Professor Sanjeev Gupta. He works on the Mars rover project. So that's the kind of expertise and that's the kind of knowledge you're getting while you're studying from an international education in general. So yeah, I think so. That covers a bit of it, and I think Noman has something to add as well.
Yeah, I would like to share my experience because I've been a student myself, an international student in UK. So that might also give some idea. I'm not sure if this question is coming from an undergrad or a postgrad student. I'll share my
undergrad.
experience. Undergrad, okay. So an undergrad student. Now, usually your education again depends on what school you have studied from. So if it's a CBSE or ISC school, it's more of theoretical approach, and if it's an IB or Cambridge, they do have like opportunity to get hands-on experience and work in a more practical way during the course. So that depends. But UK, as a like Faraz had already mentioned, education wise, you get to learn so much, not just by reading and memorizing, but by applying. So I feel that was the biggest difference for me when I went there. And I did my master's, but I would say it remains the same for undergrad as well, where you get to learn from so many amazing personalities, the faculties, Nobel Prize winners, and you get to learn from students from different parts of the world. Always, the cohort usually would have students from so many countries sharing their experience, not just academic, but their way of living, their etiquettes, thoughts. These connections really helps. And the most important, or the fun part of studying as a student in UK is when you, let's say, for example, you're working part-time, you get to meet so many other different people. I was working for so this was a relief from academics. So I was working for a football stadium as a steward, and it was Sheffield United Football Club. I studied in Sheffield. So I used to work as a steward, but most of the time I got paid for watching matches. So something fun which you would always enjoy while you're working, and don't think about Indian food or Indianness in UK. You will find plenty of that in UK. It is an amazing experience. It completely changes you. Uh, Back then, when I was applying and I was going to UK, I didn't even know how to cook Maggie. But when I was in UK, I was fully prepared. I can make a proper chicken biryani, which was taught by my mom on FaceTime. So it's a different experience. You will learn a lot, not just academics, but it'll change your whole personality. Sarah wants to
Yeah,
add
firstly,
something.
I'm coming round to yours for chicken biryani. But in terms of support, I think all the three universities here, it is difficult to get in. We are competitive universities to get in, but once students are in, there is lots and lots of support for home students and international students. There are pastoral support, there are counsellors if people get homesick. Um, all three universities and most universities in the UK offer housing in the first year. Cambridge offers it throughout the 3 years, but at least for the first year, you will have housing protected. So there is a lot of support that universities offer. And universities in the UK really welcome international students. We get as much benefit from having you here with us as you get from your time in the UK.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Sarah. I'll move on to the next question. This question is regarding the aviation programs. The student is saying that, the student was already planning to apply to Embry-Riddle in US or Massey University in the New Zealand. So he just wanted to know, are the aviation programs available with the universities? And if yes, are they equally popular like these two universities?
Um, I can answer that in terms of if it's pilot training in particular. Most in the UK, that tends to be a separate training that most students do privately or through an organisation. All three of these universities offer aeronautical engineering at undergraduate level in some form or another, but that is more the engineering as opposed to pilot training.
Okay. I'll move on to the next question. This is for Imperial. For us, this question is for you. So the Hirva has asked that how is the entrepreneur and startup culture at Imperial College? And if a student's ultimate goal is to build a startup, is MBA more preferable or MSCS or a MS program?
Okay, I mean, good question. So, I'll start with last week, I had the opportunity to meet five students, not Indian, but five students who were pursuing their masters or MBA from business school itself, and their entrepreneurial journey had started from the enterprise lab itself. All right. So it's a blend, but most of the ideation that we have seen coming from has started coming from at an MSc level as well, because that's something that we have seen in general trends right now. MBA, I have not seen yet, but since it requires also 5 years of work experience, so entrepreneurial journeys can differentiate at that point of time. So MSc is something that I would say more of towards the entrepreneurial journey.
Great. I'll move on to next interesting question from a student who has asked that, if consider studying at a popular location like UK, US, or Australia, or is it better to study at an emerging location like Germany or Ireland?
Let me
I'm
answer that. So go ahead. Go ahead,
well,
Sarah.
I'm happy to take a bit, Sachin. I'm sure you'll add in. In terms of where you study, I think all of us would say where you study is the best place to study for you. We are three of the best universities here, but if we're not the best fit for you, and another university is, then that is the best place for you to study. But Sachin, I'll hand it to you.
I think you said it, Sarah. So I think uh, more than the country, it's for you to decide, and I think that's where you need to do your research.
Mm.
And Norman made a very valid point in terms of what is your ultimate goal after the studies. If the ultimate goal after the studies is to go for a startup versus to kind of to pursue further studies versus to pursue post-study work
Mhm.
and absorb in the workforce. So it all depends upon what your aspirations are, and then accordingly do your research in terms of which program, which university, and which country offers you that pathway based upon which you should decide. Because the answer could be different based upon your
Mm.
ultimate goal and aspiration.
Yeah. Thanks, Sachin. Thanks, Sarah. I'll take two more questions. This question I think is relevant. So the student has asked that do you accept all the boards, CBSE, IB, and state board? Because the student is from state board from Uttar Pradesh.
So I mean, again,
Unfortunately,
oh,
go ahead,
please
go
go.
ahead.
Um, I think so. We're going to be saying the same thing, that we don't take state boards. Is that just what you're going to say? So yeah, we don't take state boards, but they're CBSE, ICSE, IB, and A levels. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't want to dishearten the student completely. So we have a loophole. I'm not 100% sure if Imperial and Cambridge does this, but if someone who has come up from a state board, and that has happened in the past with us, where a few of the students usually apply for NEET and JEE, and they study from a state board so that they can prepare well for this entrance examination, and eventually they shift to international universities. So there is a way through which you can make an application. So, but this would cost you 1 year. So you can get into a UG course in one university, a renowned university, which is known amongst all three of us, or maybe, amongst us, and try and score as much as you can in your first year. With that first year degree grades, you can make an application for an undergraduate degree. So anyone who is, let's say, applying for an engineering course and who wants to come for an engineering, that student might not get so much affected, because in India, engineering is for 4 years, and UK offers that in 3 years.
Mhm,
So you can
mhm,
study 1 year of engineering in India, and then maybe try and make an application for us for our UG courses. So this is the only way if you have studied the state board. Although we have started accepting few states on case to case basis. So unfortunately, again, Uttar Pradesh is not one of them. So I am so sorry, but eventually we'll come to that as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll take up one last question. This question is regarding public health. So student is asking that if studying public health in UK is a better idea, and if yes, then what are the job aspects for a student?
I can take that in terms of job prospects for most courses. Um, Again, it really depends what your career aspirations are and where you want to be. So graduates can go on to roles in their chosen subject. But we have graduates going on to all kinds of roles in public organisations, in private organisations, both in the UK and internationally. So again, there is no right or wrong whether it's better to study public health in the UK or in India. It will depend on where you ultimately want to end up and what your career aspirations may be.
Okay. Um, I think with time limitation, though there are a lot of questions, but I think we'll not be able to take all the questions. Uh, but I think we'll end the session now. And students, the questions that we were not able to take, do not worry. We'll connect with you. We'll take up your questions and we'll share it with the relevant presenter so that your questions are answered, or someone from Siksha will help you out with your queries. I would like to thank all of you for joining us today, and especially our presenters, Sarah, Nauman, Raz, and Sachin, for giving us such an such an insight about UK, the English language test that is required, and how it is helping students with their life and career in the UK. So with this, I would now like to end the session, and we hope to meet soon again for another session and helping students with their queries and enlightening them to get a greater career in the UK. So thank you so much everyone for joining us today, and thank you to all the students who have joined us today. Have a great day, have a great evening, and Sarah, you have a great day there. So with this, I end the session now. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.